Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Century Countess, aka Reaper Goth Videos. Today is Friday, November the 14th. Guess what that means? If you saw in my post, I have been invited to a doll theme goth gathering hosted by the wonderful, the amazing Star Raven Gothic Eternity, and that is why my hair looks a mess and my face is a blank canvas, because today we are going to look like, attempt to make ourselves look like a mucked up haunted doll. That's right, we're doing a mucked up doll. We're not doing a pretty doll. We're doing this doll has been through hell. This doll has been possessed multiple times by probably 1,000 poltergeists in only a few years. It is ugly as hell. Well, sort of ugly as hell. I also thought about maybe, now no promises, it depends on how the foundation turns out. We want to try to do one of those, oh god, they're disgusting, very hard to find photos of, but if you've ever heard of the oatmeal dolls, oh my gosh, so quick story about the oatmeal dolls. So they are antique dolls, very hard to find, very hard to take care of. Seriously, you cannot put them anywhere near cold, damp, or misty places. You don't put them near the window, because wintertime comes and that cold, wet wind blows in. That doll is gone. That doll is effed up, because these dolls, even though they're antique, they were made with oatmeal, like a paper mache and oatmeal substance. They were pushed in, probably either sculpted or put into actual pre-made doll molds, and they look okay, but their skin looks kind of like crinkly and distorted. Sometimes you can probably see maybe a little piece of oatmeal here and there that did not get grounded up. They literally look like, their skin texture literally looks like if somebody took a piece of paper, chewed it up, and then pulled it out like a little spitball, and you let it dry out. That's what it looks like, a dried out spitball texture. Very nasty, and they mold very easily, extremely easily. Nothing very pretty about them. Some of them, they may be well preserved and they're dressed nice, their hair is nice, but if you look at their faces, it's like gross. I forget how old these dolls are. I want to say maybe early 1900s. They were like literally, you never saw them again after when the 1920s happened. So sometime before the 1920s, early 1900s, and probably somewhere around the 1800s sometime. That's how old these dolls are. So that's what our look is going to be. The first thing we want to do is basically cover one of our eyes, because we want to have one missing eyelid. So I don't have any special prosthetic except for a piece of tape. So this is going to look very weird. It's going to be really weird to have one eye. So bear with me. And I don't know if you can hear her in the background, but Josette says hello to everyone. So, and she just confirmed it. So without further ado, let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our foundation, but first we're going to put on a base. So bear with me, you guys. So this base, we're going to trail it down just a bit towards down our neck, and we are keeping our earrings in order to kind of create a special effect. Like basically it looks like broken hooped earrings, dangly bit earrings, because back in the old dolls when they had the dangly earrings, some of them had like large loops and then perfectly sized pearl drop earrings, but the loops were just so ugly that they stood out too much. So yeah, we are going to try to replicate that as well. And yes, you could probably still see some of this tape, but you won't for long when we do the layering. So we want a good bit of this makeup on our face, because like I said, normally when I do like my drag makeup and stuff, I just put a little bit and then I blend it out. But we want like caked. It's got to be caked today. It's literally got to be like cake and grummy. And then pat it out a bit. Yes. Take out our lash, because we're going to be putting on false lashes today. Very rare of us to do. Put some bit on our ear. Smear that down. And then when we need to change, we'll blend it out a bit. Well, actually, we'll just go ahead and do it now. Alright. And as you know, I have poor vision, so if this is not properly blended, I apologize. But you're not going to see much of this, at least the neck part. So I'm going to pause this, wash my hands, and we'll go to the next step. And we are back. Now we have a plate with tin foil over it for its protection. So it's an easy cleanup. We're going to put a little bit of our white in there. And a little bit of our foundation that we just bought. Hopefully that's enough. Now we're going to take one of our little fang pad things, foundation pads, and then we're just going to add another layer. We also took our septum out early because this is going to be layered as shit, and it would literally be harder to clean. And plus, dolls don't have septums, at least not the doll that I'm going for. And then I'm using a mirror to kind of get a better idea of what we're doing. Bring that down. No contour, by the way. We probably won't do any contour because, you know, we're doing a doll that from the old days, so that means no contour. No, maybe some shadowing, but no contour. No. So the next thing we need to do is get all this out. We don't want anything to fuck this up from our powder foundation bowl. Now hopefully this does not ruin my kabuki brush. Now we're just powdering it on. Now these oatmeal dolls, they had unique paint texture. Like literally, they were like, as they decayed, they were like, you saw the skin tone that was painted on, but then you saw a combo of the oatmeal peeling through. So this is, so this texture might be a little mixed. So you're seeing pigments of white and pigments of this very pale kind of oatmeal beigey color. Now comes the fun part. Before we do anything, I'm going to go ahead and get the doll eye hole ready. There. Let me pause the film real quick. Alright, we're back. I just got a little bit of my goth black foundation and we're just enhancing this black. Now we want this to be black as pitch. We don't want any of this shimmer showing through at all. And then some of these oatmeal dolls did have a little bit of cracks and stuff because, you know, they were hollow. So if played roughly, they could crumble easily as they aged. And we could always darken the cracks a little bit better. See, maybe a little crack there. There we go. And maybe just another one. And then there. Alright, now comes the fun part. Let me pause it and I gotta find my eyeliner. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is basically extend our eye. No wing. A few lashes There we go. And then we want to extend that just a bit. And now we can kind of and we're doing it in a jaggy way. And then next, the old dolls never smiled. As my grandmother would refer to them, she would always say they always had this go to hell look, so we're going to add a frown. It took me a minute, but I managed to get my white eye pencil out of its plastic. I figured it would take a while, and it did. So now we're painting the white of our eye and then filling in the bottom half as much as we can. And then a little bit up here. Alright. Now, alright, we're back. I found my eye pencil. Now you gotta kind of try to line this up with your pupil. Well, not your pupil, your iris, and extend your eye just a bit. Now, the old dolls had like these thick, arched, well, kind of rounded, arched brow. That's what we're doing. Now, not much, but we are going to do just a smidge of red lips because some of these dolls had a little bit of red. a little bit of blush, slightly dark. Like I said, shadowing. Next we want to I figured that was going to happen. God, out of all times, my eye has to be sensitive. Shit. Alright. Time to get the... Alright, a little bit of white foundation fixed it. Next, we are already halfway in our clothes. This is not the full outfit, but I thought we'd get semi-ready. We are going to make a lash. It's a upper lash, but we'll make it into a bottom lash. No. No, screw the bottom lash. Let's make it just a regular upper lash. And here you can get it on. Alright, let me look in the mirror. We need to repair this. Actually, without this looks more doll-like. So, no lash after all. Alright, let me have a look. What is that? Ew. Alright, one sec, you guys. We're having a malfunction and we don't have time. Alright, guys, we did a few things off camera. First, we added like some little wisps to the brows because that's what the old dolls used to have, is little wisps. We are adding let's add just a bit more filth. A little on the nose. This doll is ugly as sin. Alright. I'm going to put on the rest of this outfit and I'll show you the full look. And here it is, our haunted, ugly, looky doll. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.